his hairline looked as if it had been a hairpiece, something glued on somewhere. It just didn't look right. And his hands was just as smooth as a newborn baby's behind, you know. And it seemed like it was sweating on around his hairline. It could have been sweat, it could have been glue, I don't know. But I just didn't believe it was him.
Maria Columbus, co-president of one of the oldest Elvis fan clubs, was shocked by the news of Elvis's death. She immediately contacted Elvis's father, Vernon Presley.
And he asked us not to come out, that he wanted us to come to Memphis a week later. He said that it was too hectic, there were too many people, the press was there, all family members that they had ever acknowledged were coming to Memphis, and that it would be more quiet and more beneficial for us to talk to him a week later. So we agreed. We arrived the next week, and the whole feeling of it was a feeling of make-believe. It was unreality. When we went to the mausoleum, it was an atmosphere of a carnival. There were people selling popcorn and soft drinks. There were people running up and down, and people standing in front of the doors of the mausoleum posing for pictures with the security guards. It didn't feel real. It felt like it was a game. And we didn't feel that Elvis's spirit was there. We felt a coldness and like it was a big joke. That was the week that we saw a copy of the inventory of Elvis's estate. It was 84 pages long, but it was 84 pages too short. There were a lot of things that were missing that should have been there. This was an inventory of everything that was in Graceland at the time. And there were no photographs of his mother listed, no photographs of his daughter. His diaries were missing. Most of his jewelry was gone. He had maybe 5 pieces of jewelry listed, and everybody knows Elvis loved jewelry, and he had a tremendous amount of rings and watches and necklaces, pendants. None of those were there. Some of his cars were missing. A plane was missing. It was unbelievable. And we were talking to fans who were still there, who had seen Elvis lying in state, and they said it didn't look like him.
And the gravesite itself raises questions in Maria's mind.
Vernon spelled Elvis's name on the gravestone with 2 A's, even though he officially changed the spelling of his name on his birth certificate from 2 A's to 1 A. Also, Elvis went by 1 A. He signed his contract with 1 A. His marriage license had 1 A. His Army papers had 1 A. Another thing that's unusual is the position of the burial plots. Elvis is not placed next to his mother. He is between his grandmother and Vernon. That is not what Elvis wanted in the first place, and the fans have been commenting about this quite a lot.
But was there proof Elvis was still alive? About 4 months after Elvis's reported death, Mike Joseph and his family drove to Graceland to view and take photos of Elvis's grave.
It was New Year's Eve '77 when I took my wife and my son and my nephew down to Graceland. They had just opened up Memory Gardens where Elvis was laid to rest. And we were there for an hour, and we left back for home. Had the pictures developed and looked at them, put them away. One day after reading a book, I decided to look at my pictures again. I pulled them out, and this time I saw something in one of the pictures that I hadn't seen over the years that I was looking at them. Of course, I wasn't really studying them, but the sun had just hit on this picture in such a way that it picked up this image sitting in the doorway, a shadow in the doorway. For curiosity's sake, not that I'd know who was there, I wanted to see what it was. I took my son's magnifying glass, put it on the picture, started pulling it away from the picture to get a good visible view of it, and I was just shocked. I could not believe what I saw. My God, I had Elvis Presley sitting in the doorway, looking out at the fans walking past his grave. I have had the negatives examined by Kodak. And Kodak basically says that they are original. They have not been tampered with in any way. They were taken in sequence, uncut by the negatives, being original. They can tell. The emulsion number of the film was manufactured in '77. Each roll of film that is manufactured has a manufacturing date on it in the emulsion number. You couldn't pay Kodak to say something like that if it weren't true. This is the first shot that we took. We couldn't go near the house. This is a security guard's car. It was sort of makeshift then because it was too early. It wasn't really opened up as a museum yet. So the house was closed to the public. This is Elvis's headstone, and right here in the corner is his mother. So this show that was taken after August 1677 and before 79 when his father died, because his father would be right over here, and 80, his grandmother, Minnie May. This is the shot that I took of the people walking and the bathhouse in the distance. We zero in here, and this is the same shot with just the chair. No one sitting in the chair. So that shows it was not a picture of someone sitting in a chair. He liked that chair. That was one of his favorite chairs. He even got his haircuts in that chair at times. This is the view he would be seeing. He would be seeing us sitting there and the people walking past his headstone. This is my son once again blocking the doorway, and of course the picture where I first spotted the silhouette in the doorway.
Monty Nicholson also saw a picture, allegedly taken after Elvis's death.
I had a co-worker who in passing one day told me that he used to work for Elvis Presley, and he had some pictures that I might be interested in. Well, one day he showed up at work and he had pictures of Elvis Presley getting in a helicopter that, for all intents and purposes, looked like a government helicopter, and there were men surrounding Elvis also getting into the helicopter who looked like what we often see depicted as government agents with the blazers and the wire in their ear and whatnot. And it was an interesting picture, although that picture in itself was not particularly suspicious because it's common knowledge Elvis was involved as an honorary police officer with many police agencies all over the country. The interesting thing, the curious thing about the picture was this individual claimed this picture was taken several hours after Elvis allegedly died at Graceland Mansion. So I looked at the pictures with a natural curiosity and began to work with the idea of writing a novel. While I was researching this novel, I had a running conversation with the guy that showed the pictures to me for probably 6 or 8 months that we worked together. He quit the department and was gone for several months, and I didn't think much about him. He had the pictures in his possession. I didn't have the pictures, and there was no actual way for me to verify the validity of the date of the pictures, but at the time I was only writing a fiction novel and I didn't need to. So it wasn't important in my mind to verify the date. But later, as I gained more and more information, I decided it might be important to see if I can find some factual way of verifying the date those pictures were taken, because I might really be on to the modern mystery of our decade. So I tried to recontact this individual, and when I found him, he denied ever showing me the pictures. He denied any past affiliation with Elvis Presley. And I told him at the time, I said, wait a minute, I'm not crazy. I remember our conversations, and I remember them very well, and I need to meet with you and talk to you about this. Are you willing to do that? He agreed. He gave me an address and a phone number where he might be